Our next speaker really enjoys Scottish country dancing and yearly attends a dance camp where they dance all weekend long. Please welcome Erin.
Yes, that was the original version because Taylor owns her music again. All right, so I'm going to talk about dealing with duplicative data in R, because once upon a time this was an R conference. We've heard a lot of really cool, awesome talks about AI and large language models, and we will continue to hear a lot of cool talks about AI and large language models. But we all know that before we can do anything with any of these cool tools, we need to clean our data. I'm sure you've heard the expression, data cleaning is 80% of the work, and the fun stuff is the 20% that's left. So before we get into duplicates and how to find them and how to fix them, I want to do a brief look through of some example cases of what a unique data set is. So I tend to work with school data, so K-12 school data, so all my examples are going to be about schools. So go back in your head to when you were in middle school or high school and think about the type of data as we walk through these examples. So our first example is just a data set of teachers. So this is unique by teacher ID, because this school was extremely helpful and created teacher IDs for their HR data set. This is a data set of students and their teachers. So we have a student ID column, we have a teacher ID column, and you would think that that is what it is unique by. You would be wrong, because teachers teach multiple courses, and so it is actually unique by student ID, teacher ID, and course. This will become important later. All right, so there are a couple ways that we can get duplicates on our data. I'm sure everyone has dealt with one of these situations before. In this case, as the data person, it is not necessarily your fault. Most duplicates come from either bad or incorrect or set up extremely long ago and resting on a toothpick data processes or systems that have been put in place, 20, 30, 40 more years ago. So if your organization doesn't have good data practices, good data systems, your data is going to be garbage. And as we all know, garbage in, garbage out. You can't do any of the cool, fun AI stuff when you're stuck with messy data. So as I said, I tend to work with schools. These are either charters or districts that often do not have the advanced capacities for a full data engineering team, for a full DevOps team. These are teams and programs that are using Excel spreadsheets and Google Sheets to pass their data back and forth. Their systems are not advanced enough to think about solving these types of problems inside of their database, because their database is Google Sheets. So in that case, we have to come up with systems for the people to put in place as they are entering and exiting the data to solve for some of these duplicative problems. So an example, if we have a student who's moving from school A to school B, school A might be like, oh, we know that they're coming, so we're going to put them in as of a week early so we can get their work and their teachers set up for them, which makes sense. But school B is like, we don't want to guarantee they're leaving. Maybe they'll change their mind, and so they wait a week to exit them. And now, you as the data person have this student, James, who is in both school A and school B for a 2-week time period. And that doesn't make any sense. They are clearly only in one school at a time, so we have to come up with a better system for school A to properly enter their student into their accounts, and school B to properly exit their student from their accounts so that our dates don't overlap. If you have cool engineering folks, or at least a smart data scientist who is subletting as an engineering folk, as is often the case in some NGOs or nonprofits. There are systems and processes that databases allow for you to solve some of these problems, so setting up for primary keys and surrogate keys, but most importantly, making sure your documentation is up to date, talking to your data governance people if you have one, and making sure that you're running regular audits. Because this is an AI conference, I have actually found that using AI to come up with what the audits should be is a really cool use of AI. So something to think about. All right, once you have found your duplicates and fixed your duplicates, which we'll talk about how to do in code in a second, again, you want to make sure that you have documented what you're doing so that there's no confusion later. So in this particular example, I have merged row 2 into row 1 because they were practically the same information, but maybe containing like an address field in one that wasn't in the other. So I was just able to merge everything together, and so I've documented that. Versus where they're just like a straight duplicate, everything is exactly the same, and I just removed the extra one. So to make sure that you are, when you are making changes in the source data for these types of things, to document the changes that you're making so that when either future you who doesn't remember what you were doing yesterday because you haven't eaten lunch yet comes by, you know what happened. If you ever need to look at that historical data again, which, again, we often do. Kind of the other frame of getting duplicates is, of course, when it is your fault. You have coded something incorrectly, and now your data analysis or set that you're throwing into the cool A model accidentally has duplicates. So the common, I would say, at least in my line of work, the common places where I find I have accidentally caused duplicates in my data is with incorrect joins, and then incorrect pivots, either in our land using pivot wider or pivot longer to shape the data around. So just making sure that as you are QCing your code, or someone is QCing your code for you, that these are the types of places that people are looking for, like, oh, did you include all of the columns, so that you don't end up with crazy duplicates. Again, an example using the tables that we were looking at earlier. So this is a student exams data. So it's the student, the subject that they took the exam in and their score. And then the teacher data that we were looking at earlier, with the student ID, the teacher ID, and then the course that teacher teaches. So if I just do a basic left join with these two data sets, what is it going to produce? It's going to produce this, because the only, if we go back, the only column that is the same, so dplyr, our left join defaults to just joining by the columns that are named the same, is student ID. So it left joins by student ID, easy enough, and then we get a duplicate. And this is a student who has 100, good for them, in their English test, but because we joined incorrectly, we are also getting information about their math teacher. So now when I do analysis about how well did this math teacher's students perform, it's going to be wild, because we're going to have all these ELA results, or English results, for that math teacher, which of course makes no sense. They teach math, not English. So we're clearly missing some sort of course join. So again, in dplyr, the way to do that, using the new-ish join by function, is with student ID, comma, subject equals course, or equals course in this case. Now, did we fix everything? We at least fixed that problem, which is great. We didn't cause new duplicates, which is good. However, we didn't fix the actual join problem because we have this weird thing called homeroom, which is neither ELA nor math. So you might, again, remember back to your childhood when you actually sat in one classroom all day, and we called that homeroom. or at least in this particular data set, we call that homeroom. But you are being tested in both ELA and math. So actually, we're missing a step at the beginning of the cleaning of this data, where homeroom teachers need to be separated into a math course and a ELA course. So they need to actually be duplicated, whereas they were not to start with. So, which is just to say, data is messy, joins are messy. Yay, life. But always to kind of check your work and think about these types of things, for sure. Okay, and now we get into actual R code. So how do we find duplicates in R? And I'm sure that there are packages that do this, or libraries that do this in Python. I don't know them, but I promise they exist, because at this point, everything exists. But the R package for this is called janitor. I'm sure that most of you, or at least those of you that write in R code, know this package for the clean names function. I am here to tell you it has another use case, which is the getDupes function. There are a lot of other really cool functions inside of janitor. It doesn't just have these two functions. But this is my particular favorite one. So getDupes works like count, kind of. You give it a data frame, and then you give it the columns that you are checking uniqueness by. So it's basically a wrapper for this. So it's just the dplyr verbs of group by, mutate with a count, filter and select. But it's one line instead of 5. So it's faster to write. So it works like this. You throw in a student's data set, which in this case is our enrollment data set to think about. And then you give it what the unique column is supposed to be. So student ID. Again, we don't want our students enrolled in 2 different schools. And then it spits out the duplicates that it finds by that particular unique identifier. So in this case, you can see pretty easily that the problem problem is in the grade column. So this student has the same entry dates and exit dates, but they're enrolled in both 5th grade and 6th grade, which is, again, a problem. Students are really only enrolled at 1 grade at a time. So we want to go in and fix that. So let's say that we've talked to our school officials, we've talked to the teachers, and we're like, yeah, we are 100% certain that this student is in 5th grade. Great, write an if-else statement. Change that student's grade to 5, throw in a distinct so that you smash the straight dupes together, and move on. Let's say that you have a significantly large number of students who are duplicated, but you know vaguely what you want from them. They're systematically duplicated in some way, or you want to clean it in some systematic fashion. So again, if you think about a student's grade or course grade, maybe we want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And if they have two scores for the same exam, somehow we'll just say, all right, we'll just take the better one. Because we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. In that case, just throw a summarize or a mutate for grade equals max. And then, ta-da, your data is deduped. I often end up in this situation where I have maybe 20 to 100 different duplicates. So if you divide in half, so like 10 to 50 different students who are duplicated in some fashion that is more complex than that systematic situation. So what I often find myself doing is just writing out the duplicates to a Excel file, working with my teammates to get that information back from school leaders to figure out where they are actually supposed to be, and then manually plugging in, remove this line in this written CSV file, reading back that CSV file in, and then anti-joining it to say, okay, I have found all the rows that I want to remove So let me just remove them from my system. And then I get to send that file off to our data engineers and go, OK, also remove these from your system, please. I don't want them anymore. And then they can figure out how they even ended up in the system in the first place to try and go correct for our people processes that we started with. All right. Now, we don't run code once. We run code many times, usually. And so a great way to, if you're reusing the same set of code, to check that you've manually changed your duplicates to remove them or clean the data is using this function, verify, from the assertr package, or asserter. I don't know how to pronounce package names anymore. But you basically can say, so the verify statement exits or stops the code or throws an error or throws a warning, depending on what settings you put into the asserter package, when it finds a problem. So in this case, I am saying verify that the number of rows in my get dupes is 0. So verify that there are no dupes in this data set, and if so, move on with the code, and if not, stop. And then when it stops, go back and do this, where and again, write out the data, send it to some of my teammates to go fix the data, read it back in, remove it, send it to my engineering folks to go fix the data systems, et cetera, et cetera. And this happens every 2 months. Because school students are always moving between schools, and that's fine. All right, so then you end up with a clean data set, and you can rerun your code. And now we get to do the cool AI fun stuff, because we've cleaned our data.